See if you feel like you don't fit in this world. It's because you are here to help create a new one. Amazing Black Friday deal. Buy nothing and save up to 100% in every store. Now, for some of you may know that I put a video out, was this faked yesterday, and of course YouTube banned it, but not before it got nearly 1,600 views, so that's one over on us to them. However, as it's the 10th of December coming up, they will probably delete all my accounts, so I strongly urge you to get over onto BitChute, get an account on there. I'm still on there, and that way you won't miss the videos, because they go out on there and they don't get censored by this Zionist piece of shit. Sri Lanka C, your content violated YouTube's community guidelines and has been removed. Our team has reviewed your content and unfortunately we think that it violates our hate speech policy. We've removed the following content from YouTube. Was this fate? Now what really mean by that is we don't like putting the truth out there, so what we're going to do is we're going to remove it and say it was hate speech, because clearly everyone that's seen it, and if you haven't seen it, just go to BitChute or Dailymotion. It's on both, or it was on both of them. Whether it's definitely still on BitChute, whether it's on Dailymotion, I don't know, but get over there and you can get to watch it, because if they are so desperate to ban it, you should be desperate to see it. Again here, video removed, inappropriate content. Yeah, bullshit YouTube piece of crap. This content isn't available at the moment. When this happens, it's usually because the owner only shared it with a small group of people, or changed who can see it, or it's been deleted. Yes, been deleted by YouTube. This is apparently a $10,000 bill. Yeah, $10,000. And as you can see on the bar there, it quite clearly says, "Hail Satan." Why you don't put Christmas lights on palm trees? I was sitting with my cell phone and my wife watching her show. I asked her for a beer and she said no. Then her cell phone rang in the kitchen and she quickly got up to see what it was. My message said, "Since you're in the kitchen, bring me a beer." I don't remember anything else. Bank collapse in India. They're all coming down. India, China, America, Britain, the Deutsche Bank, they're all collapsing. I'll just give you a little bit here. Because we're in the financial collapse. This is the end, dying throngs of a dying empire, thankfully. Bank collapse in India. $2 trillion debt, bank runs, economic collapse and stock market crash. Will the economic collapse of India happen in 2020? Indian banking collapse began as far back as 2007 and 2008, before the global financial crisis and stock market crash. When a lot of investments were made, those investments created a lot of bad loans that needed to be cleaned up in order to spur lending. Banks are the most significant source of funding for Indian companies. The banks have stopped lending because their balance sheets were getting clogged with non-performing assets. India's banking system has lost $24.8 billion due to non-performing loans, of 416 defaulters being written off. CNN News 18 reported last month, in the last 3 years alone, the Indian banking system has lost more than $26 billion on accounts of non-performing loans of 416 defaulters. Well, as I've been saying for a while, we are already in the financial crash. They're just holding it on for the time when it suits them best. But it's definitely going to be coming. Now, this is quite interesting. This is Health and Social Care Act 2012. And just listen to this. The Health and Social Care Act 2012 is an act of the Parliament of the United Kingdom. It provides for the most extensive reorganisation of the structure of the National Health Service in England to date. It removed responsibility for the health of citizens from the Secretary of State for Health, which the post had carried since the inception of the NHS in 1948. It abolished NHS primary care trusts and strategic health authorities. Basically, what they're saying in this act, which they introduced in 2012, is they have no duty of care to look after you, whether you're ill or not. They're basically getting rid of us. Official Secrets Review: How Bush and Blair lied their way to war with Iraq. Now, there's a film out about this, and it's very interesting as well. But I strongly suggest you do a lot of research into this, because this shows that Tony Blair, George Bush, should be in jail for crimes against humanity. Official Secrets shows the extent of the lies in the drive to war with Iraq and leaves and viewers asking how on earth Blair got away with it. Right, Shabir Laker. Official Secrets is a powerful new film that opened in UK cinemas on 18th of October, featuring a number of notable actors, including Keira Knightley and Ralph Fiennes. The film masterfully tells the story of a whistleblower from GCHQ who was charged with breaching the Official Secrets Act. Showing up the Chilcot inquiry, the film exposes the deliberate duplicity of the Blair government in coordination with the Bush administration and the transatlantic intelligence services, as decisions of whether or not Tony Blair should be remembered for instigating the Iraq war have re-emerged, and Julian Assange is facing a trial for extradition to the US. The timing of the film's UK opening is impeccable. Catherine Gunn, played by Keira Knightley, was a GCHQ spy who received a memo from the NSA approved by GCHQ, in which a senior US intelligence officer has asked GCHQ and MI6 to support efforts of gathering intelligence on UN Security Council delegates, with the explicit aim of using that intelligence to coerce the members to vote in favour of the Iraq war. After the passing of UNSC Resolution 1441 in November 2002, UN weapons inspectors and IAEA inspectors were deployed to Iraq to search for non-existent chemical weapons and biological weapons that the US and UK were claiming were there. The failure to find any put serious doubts over the legality of any military action in Iraq without securing a second UN resolution mandating it. So Tony Blair should be in jail. He's a mass murderer, he's a paedophile, as we all know, and, well, so should Bush. And let's hope that that's what's coming. Mother demands answer after son put in restraints and injected on first day of school. It is a last measure and is done only in dire situations, demanded an emergency hospital on use of the restraint. When Debbie Kiroff's son disappeared from the teacher's sight, the school called police, but what happened next was the sounding of the alarm about the appropriateness of both the school's and the hospital response. A Toronto area mother is searching for answers after says her son was taken to a hospital alone in the back of a police car, placed in restraints and injected with a sedative because he was acting out of the first day on school. And that's how they treat kids, because they don't give a shit about any of us. Chemtrail pilot blows the lid off Operation INDIGO SKYFOLD. Maybe my fellow pilots will read or hear about this and decide to come forward as well. In confirmation to the INDIGO SKYFOLD pilot's testimony, that is in the main subject of this article, another US Air Force personnel has thrown herself into the battle against chemtrail and global geoengineering operations. Her direct first-hand account is not something a sane society can ignore. But the creativity of the trolls to twist even their own positions and facts is an expression of their growing desperation. They would even claim they're with us. The battle against the chemical and biological warfare in all their forms, e.g. chemtrails, vaccines and GMO, is humanity's battle. This is our battle against pure evil that is now occupying critical positions of power. We are hoping that more insiders would come out in the open and tell the world the whole truth about these sinister operations. This article has been trolled persistently. We are beginning to understand why. What chemtrails are doing to your brain are shocking. Neurosurgeon. A courageous chemtrail pilot exposes the global geoengineering plan. Finally, a military pilot stepped forward and completely blows the lid off the unlawful and exceedingly destructive global chemtrail program. What follows is a video which puts forth a true story about a courageous pilot who has broken ranks with his chemtrail peers. In so doing, he has risked his life and the life of his family. As you listen to this presentation or read the text provided below, bear in mind that chemtrails are being sprayed 24/7 around the globe with terrible consequences. If you want to see the video, the link's in description, as for all the ones I'm talking about. Amateur lawyer cop rap. Man launches private court case against 5 cops who attacked him in his home and staged a cover-up. This is the state that the country is in. The cops are the most corrupt going. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Cops are accused of tampering with evidence, including a phone recording of the fracas. 5 police officers appeared in court yesterday in a private prosecution brought by a man who claims they roughed him up, then staged a cover-up. Jobless courier Neil Wilkes, 37, says police were called to his home after his tipsy wife, Marie, fell downstairs because her daughter mistakenly thought she was being attacked. Wilkes acted as the prosecutor at Wolverhampton Crown Court as the judge adjourned the case for 3 weeks for witness papers to be sorted. Neil of Tipton, West Midlands, said it has been exhausting, but I am determined to see justice prevail. PC Elaine Redding, 31, and 34-year-old PC James Dupree are charged with dismissing and deleting and Jack Foster making a false statement. What will happen here, this CPS will take it over and drop the case. That's what normally happens in these cases, but if that happens, then you know it's all utterly and totally a corrupt cover-up. GcMAF. We have heard that the MHRA ruthlessly stopped the production of GcMAF in England 9 months ago on the 28th of January 2015. GcMAF is the body's way of curing cancer, a human protein all of us make, and a human right. It has no side effects. It is the best treatment known for tumours, cancer, which is 90% of them, and 50 other diseases. People with disease can make it and need external GcMAF to cure their diseases. It was discovered in 1990 and the MHRA has conspired to conceal it from the public since then, because they want us dead. 300 scientists have written over 150 scientific research papers on GcMAF and Immunobiotech Limited, and supplied 11,000 people with fabulous results before the MHRA closed them down. As a regulatory agency, the MHRA remit is to support new treatments. They should have helped Immunobiotech Limited, IBL, to get the product into the NHS as soon as possible. But they abuse their position to protect their profits of big pharmaceutical companies that they illegally represent. They have Big Pharma on their board. Instead of making a telephone call to arrange a meeting with the MHRA, raided RBL's Cambridge laboratory with 8 police, 4 in bulletproof vests, interrogated and terrorised 2 female scientists who were on duty for 8 hours. They were so traumatised they could not work for months afterwards. They closed Immunobiotech's bank accounts using the illegal compliance system, so legal abuse above. See legal abuse above. And the company was forced to cease trading. They closed the CEO's bank accounts and left him penniless. They are now doing that to members of his family. On their website, they publish 18 fraudulent misrepresentations by IBL's excellent sterile record. 33 major prosecutions, no prosecutions for almost 4 years to avoid prosecuting Immunobiotech, and it's a simple case of that the MHRA have persecuted them with 33 attacks, wasting millions in public money. The MHRA's Andrew Graham committed perjury and fraudulent misrepresentation in his witness statement to Canterbury Crown Court to obtain a restraint order. One lie is that All IBL's benevolent income is proceeds of crime. The restraint order closed Immunobiotech and its bank accounts and left them penniless. This is an utter disgrace. This should have you up in arms. This is a cure for cancer, but they don't want Big Pharma losing all their money that they make from their toxic poison tablets and other forms like chemo and all that sort of crap. People. Kim is great being a granny. Okay. London terror attack. Beautiful spirit who took the side of the underdog. Dad's tribute to son stabbed to death by a bridge killer. Now, what this is, as you let's follow me, know, if you saw the video yesterday, and if you didn't, get onto BitChute to watch it. Was this faked? It was called. This is just to try and back up that false flag, to try and make out it was real, and you'll find that in almost every snooze paper. Waste of paper. Jack, 25, slain by a jihadi nut they let go. Absolute bullshit. The Observer. PM thrust terror attack into centre of election battle. Convicted terrorists should not be freed. ISIS claim London Bridge knife attack. Well, ISIS claimed it, of course, because ISIS is controlled by the British, American, German, French government. So, of course, they're going to claim it because they want us in fear. But the fact that we're losing the fear, we're not falling for the bullshit anymore, shows that this is why they're getting desperate and they made such a shittier job of this false flag. Shock poll shows RAB in danger of defeat. Express. Why voters must not put Corbyn into number 10. Boris Johnson. Exclusive interview. Who also put out a tweet 5 or 6 hours before the actual attack, praising the services and the public for their actions. 5 or 6 hours before it happened. Wow. Fury at London Bridge terror. Who was free to kill. Soft justice plays Russian roulette with our lives. Victim Jack was beautiful spirit. Yeah. All bullshit, trying and back up the false flag from yesterday. Telegraph. PM's fury over 73 terrorists. Yay, right. Johnson blasts catalogue of failures over London Bridge jihadists and promises to scrap failed early release scheme. Cambridge graduate died trying to help the underdogs. Bullshit. It's so faked. And if you just go and watch the video, I'll put a link in the description to the one on BitChute, because YouTube, ZioTube should I say, has banned it. Mirror. London Bridge terror. Freed and plotting carnage. Jihad picture 72 hours before slaughter. Fury judges that ever let him out. Absolute bullshit, but this is them trying to enforce the false flag so that you believe it's real. And unfortunately, some out there will think it's real. The fail. World exclusive. New crisis engulfs Prince as Moz investigation reveals damning details of his clandestine financial affairs. Exposed. Andrews deals with tax haven tycoons. What? You mean the crooks as well as paedophiles? Satanists? Wow, who'd have ever thought? Well, me, because I say it every chance I can. The Sunday Times. Boris vows to lock terrorists up and throw away the key. Lying bastard. Because if that was true, he would be locked up for good. Corbyn accuses Tories over killer's release. Victim was a beautiful spirit and jail reformer. Yeah. Blow to Tories as their lead shrinks despite voters' distrust of Corbyn. So we know that it was all totally faked, and that's why ZioTube banned my video. But you can get it on YouTube, on BitChute, and it may still be on Dailymotion, or they may have scrapped it as well. I've not checked, to be honest with you, but we'll see. Rare image of shark stepping on a Lego. For the low price of £100, I'll stand mysteriously far away in a black trench coat at your funeral so your relatives think you have an interesting secret. To this day, the best fight I ever started. I think that speaks for itself. Bob and Steve noticed no one else was wearing a collar. Suddenly, they realised they were in a stray bar.